Night Shift Whispers.
Late at night, I received a strange email with creepy handwriting in my inbox. Tired, I didn't pay attention to the sender. The email was a job offer, so I simply jotted down the address and went to bed. The next day, I went to the address and found a two-story supermarket. A tall, pale-skinned woman with long, flowing black hair and piercing blue eyes waited for me at the gate. She was beautiful, but something unsettling lurked beneath her porcelain skin. Her movements were graceful, yet unnatural, and her eyes were too intense, too knowing. She led me to a room where another staff member, presumably the HR manager, awaited my arrival. I answered a few brief questions, and within minutes, I was hired on the spot. However, the supermarket was short-staffed that week, so overtime was mandatory. To accommodate my new schedule, I was given a room in the back of the storage room to stay in temporarily until my regular hours resumed. I didn't mind the overtime. After all, doing nothing all day is just as tiring as being busy. So I agreed, and the employment contract was signed. My duties included helping customers, restocking shelves, and assisting with F&B supervision. My first day of work went smoothly without any major obstacles. However, one thing that baffled me was that the atmosphere was so quiet. Too quiet. I didn't hear any sound other than the noises I made myself, the sound of my footsteps, the sound of the cart I was pushing, and even the sound of my own heartbeat was audible. But I didn't have the option to complain about it, as I was in desperate need of a job. So I decided to ignore it and focus on my work. On my second day of work, I began to realize that the people who passed by me, both employees and customers, were not only very quiet, but also had no expression on their faces. When I tried to talk to them about things that needed to be discussed, they would only nod or shake their heads or respond with other body language cues. On my third day, I was already reluctant to talk to people. I just enjoyed the experience of working in silence. Until one day, I noticed something strange about the expiration dates on the merchandise. They were 10 years old. Was it true? Or was I just not feeling well? But I continued to work as best I could, ignoring the strangeness as I had done with the previous oddities. On the fifth day, I found a strange collection of products in the corner of the beverage aisle. Fresh blood in bottles. Was I going crazy? That spot was usually filled with various fruit juices. Seriously, something must be wrong with my sanity. Of course, I was worried. But again, there was no other option I could take other than to forget about it and assume it was all just my hallucination. Another day passed. As I was tidying up the snack aisle, I saw something strange about its appearance. It was wrapped in clear plastic, so it was clear what was inside. It looked like finger bones. I looked at it more closely, from various angles, and it was indeed bones. I was filled with a real fear. Whether this was really that crazy or whether I was already crazy, both were equally terrifying. That night I was overthinking a lot. I was restless all night, unable to sleep. Should I quit? But I would be unemployed again and spend my days feeling meaningless. Well, just go through it for now while waiting for another job offer, I told myself. I dragged myself to work the next day, even though I was exhausted. I forced myself to stay awake to convince myself that the supermarket was just a regular supermarket with regular merchandise and with quiet people who didn't need to be questioned because everyone is free to express themselves however they want. As I was checking the shelves for anything that needed to be restocked, I saw small white objects scattered everywhere. Cleaning wasn't my job, but seeing the floor covered in small objects was distracting. I was about to get a broom when I realized that the objects were not only on the floor, but also on the shelves, on the merchandise. And, oh my God, the merchandise was the source of the debris. What was that? Why did it look like it was moving? I took a closer look when I realized that the small objects were maggots. Yes, maggots. Millions of maggots. I ran to find another employee. One of my coworkers was fixing her hair in the mirror in the employee lounge. I was about to speak to her when I suddenly realized that she didn't have a reflection in the mirror. I gasped. Oh my God, what kind of place is this? I ran out of the lounge. The entire supermarket had changed in a shocking way. The people walking around were all skeletons. Yes, skulls and bones. I frantically tried to escape from the supermarket building. The yard, which had been clean and paved, was now covered in overgrown weeds and tall grass. Something tripped me and I fell down. Then I didn't remember anything else. When I woke up, I was already in my own bedroom. My mother said that I had been missing for a week and was found unconscious in front of an abandoned supermarket that had burned down 10 years ago. I was stunned. I immediately opened my email inbox to check the job offer email again. The email was gone.